From Kern Government Television, welcome to this week's Kern County Board of Supervisors meeting. Originating from the Kern County Administrative Center, located at 1115 Truxtun Avenue in Bakersfield, California. Grounded in ideas, energy, and innovation, Kern County's vision is to be a driving force for the world's fifth largest economy, and our mission is to exceed expectations of the communities we serve, changing the way they feel about government, those who manage it, and the services it provides. Today's Board of Supervisors meeting will convene momentarily.
Board to reconvene. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Supervisor Peters?
Here.
Supervisor Parlier?
Here.
Supervisor Flores?
Here.
Supervisor Couch?
Here.
Supervisor Perez?
Here. Okay, before we get to our agenda, we're going to hear a report on action taken in closed session from our county council.
Thank you. Good afternoon. This morning, following the AM agenda meeting, your board met in closed session on items 35 through 38, and there were no reportable actions taken.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll begin with the consent agenda. All items listed with a CA or C above the item are considered to be routine and non-controversial by county staff. The CA represents the consent agenda for the Board of Supervisors, while the C represents the consent agenda for Kern Sanitation Authority and or Ford City Taft Heights Sanitation District and or IHSS Public Authority. Consent items will be considered first and may be approved by one motion. Sorry, I lost my place there. If a member of the audience wishes to comment or ask questions regarding an item or items on the consent agenda, they may do so prior to a vote being taken. Members of the board may remove any item from the consent agenda, and it will be listed in listed sequence with an opportunity for any member of the public to address the board concerning the item before action is taken. Members of the public may also comment on any closed session items. The consent agenda includes items 4 through 5 on page 2, 8 through 10 on page 3, 11 through 16 on page 4, items 17 and 18, as well as 20 through 22 on page 5, 23 through 29 on page 6, 30 through 36 on page 7, and items 37 through 40 on page 8. And I also wanted to note that the consent agenda has been amended to change the recommended action on item number 28 to identify apparent low responsive and responsible bid, approved contract, authorize Chief General Services offer or designee to sign, and authorize General Services to release all other bid guarantees. So with that being said, are there any questions or comments from the board before we hear from the public? Okay, seeing none, would any members of the public like to speak on the consent agenda? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the board for a motion.
Motion on consent. Second.
Please cast your votes.
The motion is approved. All ayes.
Thank you. We'll go to item number 1, which is proclaiming May 17th through 23rd, 2026 as National Public Works Week.
Motion on the proclamation.
Second.
The motion is approved. All ayes.
Good morning, or excuse me. Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I am here today to proclaim May 17th through the 23rd as National Public Works Week here in Kern County. The recognition has been entered into the board minutes signed by Philip Peters, our chair, our honorable chair. I would say just a couple of words, and I'm going to turn it over to Josh and to Michelle. Bill Lement couldn't be here, but Public Works, it's all about infrastructure. And we think about, people can be infrastructure, but when you, I would say every citizen of Kern County, just about every day, experiences our roads, our water systems, our sewer systems, our airport, you name it. And these folks design it, build it, maintain it, and make it work. And so we're just recognizing them this week. are recognized this week in honor of them. I'm going to turn it over to Josh Champlin, our Director of Public Works, and Michelle Burns-Lusich, who runs our general services. Bill LeManc couldn't be here. He was here this morning, as you recall. But I'm going to let Josh say a few words, Josh and Michelle. So here you go, Josh and Michelle. I'll leave this up here for you. Take over.
Thank you, Supervisor Couch, members of the board. Michelle and I have today put together a little presentation for you for the public and for your benefit to kind of outline what is Public Works. And I'd like to start out by saying, without the employees we have, we can do nothing. We're here trying to lead these organizations, and personally for me, I have about 600 employees in the department, and without every one of them, we can't get the work done that I think the voters require of us, and I know your board appreciates them as well. So this is National Public Works Week. The American Public Works Association is the sponsor of these yearly events, and this year the theme is Rooted in Service, Powered by Community. So we just want to recognize all of our employees. As far as Public Works goes, we have the building development, construction, road maintenance, solid waste, and many behind the scenes that you may not see, like our people who manage our sewer systems, or surveying, code compliance, finance and accounting, and our marketing team. So as I said, Rooted in Service, Powered by Community is this year's theme, and I'd just like to go through a few things here, but we have administrative division. We pay over 25,000 invoices a year. We receive numerous grants from outside the county, millions and millions of dollars that we bring in that aren't locally funded. We have a building inspection division that processed over 9,000 permits this last year. 7,600 were issued, and we finalized over 5,900 permits in the building department, with over almost 24,000 inspections completed. Code compliance, as you know, is a major focus of this board. We continue to ramp up our services, but as you can see over the past year, we've managed over 3,000 cases, conducted 9,000 field inspections, and abated more than 600 properties. One division that might not be seen very much is our survey division, but they serve a big role. They keep mapping for landowners, and that land ownership is a big deal in Kern County. And they also help with every single public works project that we do, whether they're roads or waste-related projects. They're out there surveying it beforehand and during and after we're finished. We also manage a bus system here, Kern Transit. We replaced another 10,000 aging buses this year, so now we have a total of 46 new buses in the last 3 years, and we're trying to modernize this fleet as we head into the future. And we started offering free rides to high school and college-aged people in the community, and currently we're tracking to deliver about 70,000 free rides. We also have our advanced planning division, which is very important to us. This is the group that goes out there and finds those grants, finds those opportunities, finds those things, such as Supervisor Flores said, those grants from Caltrans that get us $1 million to clean up oil dale. So they're always busy. This $60 million in grants is just a fraction, I believe, of what we're bringing in, but very important to keep that money coming into Kern County. Road maintenance, we have about 100 people who are maintaining over 3,300 miles of roadway in this county, that's a lot of roadway to manage with so few people. And so that's a huge lift, and they're doing a great job with what they have. We also have 300 drainage basins. We have a concrete crew that repairs concrete year-round. Something new to Public Works this last year is our graffiti abatement crew. Currently, we have 2 crews with a third coming on, and so we provide, as you can see, we come across a lot of things as on the left of that slide. We had to blur that out, so we don't want to see that stuff in our community, and so we're out there power washing, and then when the power washing is not successful, as you can see in the middle, we have the ability to paint, and that employee is actually painting, I believe, a parks bathroom, and so we've partnered with the Parks Department to kind of clean up some of those issues as well. And then our construction and engineering division, this is just a sample of what you see out there. We have aging infrastructure on the left that has outlived its useful life, and we just have to simply get in there and redo it. And so that's the beginning and after look at a project that was done recently. And as you can see, things don't quite look the same. And so over time, standards change, and we integrate bike lanes, parking lanes, new high visibility crosswalks. And so drastic difference between what was there before and after. And then finally, we have our solid waste division. We have, I think, 6 landfills now. This one is Tehachapi landfill. Actually, was operating for over 50 years. It reached its capacity this year, and so we have to close these landfills when they reach capacity, but we don't leave them without another resource. And so it's been the trend of Public Works when these landfills close, we put in their place a transfer station. And so the people of Tehachapi and the haulers at Tehachapi have the same level of service. We just simply have to bring that refuse down to Bina or Mojave in order to permanently place it. But they still receive the same benefit, and we're working on that as we speak. We have a temporary right now with a plan for a permanent transfer station in the future. And then something we're very proud of is in October of 2025, we had been working on a recycling facility at the Shafter-Wasco landfill. It was completed in October, and we have now started producing usable compost. The goal is to take 100,000 tons of organics material that would normally have gone to the landfills, and we're going to compost those and reuse those, turn them into about 40,000 tons of compost annually for farmers, community members, other cities within the county. And this is something that satisfies some goals of state laws. We did receive $10 million from the state of California to assist us in constructing that facility. And more recently, I already mentioned it, but we've established the Oildale Cleanup Alliance, and that really is that $1 million that most of it's going to the Open Door Network to help employ people and keep Oildale clean. This will be a 1-year grant, and we're hopeful that this will be a recurring grant that we continue to look for. But regardless, we'll continue to look for these kinds of grants when they come available. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Michelle Burns-Lusich, the Chief General Service Officer, who's going to share some General Services Public Works with you.
This one.
Hi, good afternoon. Michelle Burns-Lusich, Chief General Services Officer. Josh, thank you for sharing the stage with me. I'm happy to be here for the first time to celebrate Public Works Week. Thank you. So I'm going to start out with our facilities division. These are our electricians, HVAC technicians, plumbers, carpenters, our custodial staff, our utility management team, and more, performing all kinds of work in all of our facilities, 393 county facilities that they maintain, and that is across a service area of 8,000 square miles. This year, they have responded to over 4,000 work orders. On an average, you see there, monthly is nearly 600 work orders, a busy group. Our construction services division, they are our project managers, our engineers, architects, our project inspectors that are designing, engineering, and constructing capital improvement projects, major maintenance projects. This fiscal year, we have 163 projects that are budgeted with a total value of over $400 million. All types of projects, solar improvements, elevator modernizations, roof replacements, HVAC, park improvements, two brand new parks we constructed this year. Speaking of parks, our Parks and Reservations section, they maintain and manage over 50 parks. Then that is 4,800 acres of parklands, including all kinds of facilities, splash pads, play equipment, various sports courts. We also have 1 recreational pool, 212 reservable campsites, and 3 lakes. Communications is another area of public work that we perform. We have our emergency communications technicians. They provide two-way radios and microwave systems for Kern County Fire and Sheriff, as well as EMS. And I also want to note, one of our major projects that we are working on right now is a regional public safety communications network project. This is a new system from mountain peak to mountain peak. The contract is with Motorola and is currently sitting at $130 million plus our remediation costs. We anticipate completion, hopefully, fingers crossed, in 2031 of this project. Now, we can't do any of this work without our support staff. They play a huge role in public work. With general services, we have administration. They oversee our budget, audit responses, pay all of our bills to keep our vendors happy. They also invoice for receivables. They provide our human resources needs. And of course, they process our time cards to make sure all of our employees get paid. Our purchasing division. These include our contracts team, who manage all of our contracts for public work. We also have buyers in this division, all of which ensure that we abide by the competitive bidding process and our procurement procedures. Fleet services, 800 vehicles in our fleet at the county, and they perform end-to-end fleet management. Our automotive workers, they have serviced 1,700 work orders this year, so a lot of work on our fleet. Property management, 65 new leases and agreements. They keep the roof over our heads while we're doing all of this work. I appreciate that team. They are also playing a significant role in our communications project, and they're securing sites for our new towers to be constructed. And finally, mail services, delivering over 3,200 pieces of mail every day to all of our county departments, including our public works contracts. So again, public works across the board in every facet of our department. Now, I don't want to leave out some of the support services that support Josh and I. Also, that is our County Human Resources Division, ITS, Kern County Sheriff Officers supporting us with park rangers. Thank you for that. The CAO's office, Alex and Elsa's team helps us with our budgets. Also, County Council, nonstop support there with professional legal assistance with our contracts. Thank you, appreciate that. And lastly, your board for providing your direction and your guidance, your leadership. Thank you, we appreciate you.
Well, thank you guys. Thanks to you and your departments for everything that you guys do to keep Kern County running and keep our communities looking great. Yeah, you guys are doing a great job. Supervisor Perez?
Thank you. I know you're busy taking pictures, so, don't get distracted by me. But Michelle, you, your team, the family have completely transformed the East Side. I mean, it doesn't look like the same place. And everywhere I go, it's what the community talks about. It's what they're excited about, which is interesting and humbling in this business. You think you have all these great ideas about the world that people are going to listen to, and they really want to see their roads and parks maintained well. I think that's much more of a priority than I could have ever imagined. And so I want to say thank you for transforming the East Side. It is just so beautiful in so many ways because of the work that you do, the TLC, to those spaces that the community really appreciates. And I certainly do too. So thank you for the transformation and for the hope and how you look at the East Side and what it can mean and feel to, that side of the 99. Thank you.
Okay, our next item is item number 2, and that's public presentations. This portion of the meeting is reserved for persons to address the board on any matter not on this agenda, but under the jurisdiction of the board. Board members may respond briefly to statements made or questions posed. They may ask questions for clarification, make referral to staff for factual information, or request that staff report back to the board at a later meeting. Also, the board may take action to direct staff to place a matter of business on a future agenda. Speakers are limited to 2 minutes. Please state and spell your name before making your presentation.
David Abbasi, And so this morning I had a headache and now I have indigestion. And so I'm not feeling too great. I'll make this quick. Perez, you violated the Levine Act 4 times in 1 year. March 5th, you took money from Dr. Albert Ma. March 12th, you voted to enrich by granting the multi-million-dollar BBHH contract. That's 1 of 4 separate violations. They're administrative, but the criminal stuff that goes with it, it's a lot more serious. It's going to cost potentially a lot of money for fines, but the criminality of it and the conflicts that you had, you voted 4 times in 1 year, and the votes are there too. So, you know what, Chris, I don't want to be here, okay? I don't like forensic accounting. I don't like staring at campaign ledgers. I don't like looking at board minutes and trying to match a financial transaction with legislative action. You know, it's not fun, okay? But you guys gave me a lot of work, and I am thankful for that work, because now I can actually prove the racketeering and how all of you have been taking money. Mr. Parlier, I have a sample here. You took $4,800 between October 24th and April 25th, $4,800 from BRS. That's over the limit. You took $14,000 from 18 overlapping logistics companies that are associated with Good Samaritan. That's a lot of money. You voted to award Good Samaritan a $2 million contract, January 14th and July 15th. And in July 29, you personally made the motion to award $2 million to BRS, and again in December to BRS. You wasted no time as the legislative expediter for the cartel. This is just a sample, sir. So I don't care if you were the top cop of Timbuktu, the
Thank
paper
you.
trail tells a different tale,
15
and you're a
seconds
dirty
over
crook.
the
I'd
time
remain
limit,
silent,
so
because anything you say
we'll
can
have
and
to
will be used
ask
against
for
you.
our next speaker, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. Madam, thank you for being so kind. I appreciate you putting this on the record.
Okay, next speaker, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Karen Bussard, Karen Bussard, and I am a county employee with 20 years' experience. I read the Kern County Admin Policy and Procedures Manual and the Kern County Code of Compliance, and I have questions and statements regarding the contracting out of services, namely employee services that employees provide. Number 1 was Section 501, Paragraph 2, regarding notification to employee organizations followed. 2, were RFQ submitted to the board as the contracts exceed $200,000 pursuant to Section 508 and 511. Why was Section 530 not followed? I find it interesting in Section 532 that minority and women are encouraged to participate in the bidding process of the contracted services. Most of your low-wage earners, employees, are minorities and women. Kern County Code of Ordinance, Section 2.02.010, in its entirety specifically lists the codes to avoid the appearance of impropriety. Kern County employees provide continuity of services, accountability, and confidentiality from trained employees with no conflict of interest or break-in services provided to Kern County residents. You cannot provide more with less, but you can provide quality services with your own employees. While I am happy other classifications and departments are being additionally funded, you have other employees who are in need of much-needed raises. Regarding my classification of legal secretary, we still have a compaction issue of at least 9.5%. Please consider fixing this compaction issue, as I am still struggling to pay for the basic necessities of life. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Jeffrey Miller, JEFFREYMILLER. This is in regards to Hall Ambulance. I'm requesting that the council, on the next approval of their rates for basic life support, please make these guys break it up into 3 tiers, low, medium, and high tier. Not every bit of treatment is the same. My wife got picked up an 8-mile ride to the hospital. Every government contract, county, state, federal I've ever dealt with, you get GSA rates. For some reason, Hall Ambulance gets to bill $65 a mile. That's not for profit. It's to maintain the vehicle. It's to put gas in it. Then I got charged $57 for this, a pulse ox. That's fine. It's considered basic life support. So what are you billing me? Because the second they hit me with this, $3,000 later was their justification for this. I said, well, you gave my wife a ride to the hospital and a pulse ox, and you're saying that's $3,000 plus 480 mileage. Trying to cram this all in, even if I paid the 2-man crew the highest rate plus 40% profit for the hour they were there at the hospital, that's $480 with a 40% profit on top of it. I really think there needs to be some basic tiers for this. She didn't have chest compressions. There was no IV. There was no pulse ox, or no oxygen. Just very frustrating. Don't get me wrong. I love the county. I love the ambulance. I love the service. They weren't there per 90% of the calls of Kern County. It was supposed to arrive at 9 minutes. Didn't happen. Took 20. And we're in the city, so I don't get it. Either they're overworked, they don't know how to run their billing and make a profit. And I was also told by their biller, by the way, because we can't bill Medicaid and Medi-Cal anymore per AB 716, we have to make it up on private pickup calls. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon, Board of Supervisors. My name is Colette Brown Rodriguez. I'm here with Aventis. Sorry we couldn't make it, but we listened in this morning. So just want to let you know I brought a couple of my team members, David from Aventis and 2 folks from CSIE. So if you have any questions, just let us know. But thank you for allowing us to come in and say hi. Thanks.
Thank you. Next speaker, please. Okay, seeing none, we're going to move to our next item, and that's item number 6. And that is a public hearing to consider proposed ordinance establishing. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped over 3. I apologize. I left my agenda, so I'm reading off my phone. It's a little small here. Our next item is 3, which is board member announcements and reports. Supervisor Parley.
Thank you so much, Aventis, for coming to the meeting. I know you couldn't make it this morning. There were some questions from the community regarding a solar project that you're involved with. And could you, if it's okay with you, Mr. Chair, if I can come down front? As was discussed, it sounded like there was a major wind event that occurred, but just the same, your property was mentioned, and with the wind event that took place, can you just talk a little bit about some of the mitigation efforts that
Yep.
you employed?
If you don't mind, can I invite some of the people who actually do the work on the site?
Come on up.
Come on up, guys. So CSIE is the EPC who's doing the construction, so Sash can help explain some of our mitigation measures.
Very good. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sash Padmanabhan. I'm the senior project manager for the project. I work for CSI Electrical Contractors. We are the general contractors at the project. As you had mentioned, it was a big wind event over the weekend, and we had continuously 6 to 7 water trucks running on the water side on the project, and also we have Gorilla Snot, which is basically earth glue, which helps with keeping the dust down. So we've been using that, which has been approved by CDFW. And also we have mulch, which is basically the wooden chips. So we are spreading that across the project site to keep the dust down as well. So those are the mitigation measures we have, as well as per the MMRP, we need to have a Trex fence, which is 6-foot tall fence that covers the project boundary. at certain locations to mitigate the dust as well. I believe I covered everything, right, Steve? Yeah, thank you.
Okay, well, thank you so much. The community, some members were here from Boron earlier today, and I know that your company is trying community outreach with them, and I am appreciative of that and implore you to continue in that vein, and hopefully things get better. Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Our next item is item number 6, and that is, sorry, let me pull this back up here. Public hearing to consider proposed ordinance establishing a rate increase within CSA number 71.3 north of the River Sanitary District for sewer service charges for fiscal year 2026-2027. I'll turn it over to Director Josh Champlin.
Thank you, Chairman, members of the board. Before you today is a proposed rate increase for sewer service charges for County Service Area 71.3. And this is specifically for north of the River Sanitary Districts area. We're going to go over the Prop 218 process, background, and the need to increase rates for the sewer services. So, property owners received a mail notice at least 45 days in advance of this hearing. The process requires submission of written protests in accordance with California Constitution. Public Works mailed a notice to each of the 648 properties. Each mailed notice included instructions to where a protest letter would need to be submitted and a deadline needed for submission. The identification of the property within the said protest letter, and that a name and signature of the owner is needed to indicate the property's protest of the proposed rate increase. In order for a successful protest, a majority of the property owners would need to submit this protest by the end of this hearing today. So CSA 71.3 NORSD. So this is the area of NORSD's portion of 71.3. The proposal for the upcoming fiscal year that would begin on July 1st is $441.97 per year per parcel, matching NORSD's sewer rate. The rate is to match their Prop 218 rate for the next year and continue for a period CPI for the next 3 years. The projected 26-27 fiscal year budget, the current rate is $382.75 per year per parcel. The estimated budget for next year indicates that over 94% of expenses come from NORSD sewer charges to CSA. If the proposed Prop 218 fails or is not approved, there will be a net loss of over $40,000 for CSA 71.3. This concludes my presentation, and at this time, it would be appropriate to open the public hearing.
Okay, this is the time and place for the public hearing and to submit written protests considering an increase in the assessment for CSA 71.3 for fiscal year 2026-2027. Before I open the public hearing, are there any comments or questions from the board? Okay, seeing none, I will now open the public hearing and ask if there are any public comments. If anyone has any written protests, now is the time to deliver them to the clerk of the board. Madam Clerk, have you received any comments that or protests that need to be considered?
I have not received any written protests to be considered.
Okay, seeing as there are no further public comments, we will now close the public hearing and return to staff.
So to my knowledge, we didn't receive any protests today, and we have received to this date 0 protests for this rate increase. So since staff did not receive a majority of protests from the 648 parcels within the CSA 71.3, it's staff's recommendation your board confirm that there is not a majority protest for sewer rate schedule, make a finding that the project is exempt from CEQA, approve the report, waive the reading, and enact the ordinance.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion on staff's recommendation?
Motion.
Thank you. Is there a second? I'll second it. Please cast your votes.
The motion is approved. All ayes.
Okay, thank you. Our next item is item number 7, protest hearing on proposed confirmation of costs incurred for nuisance abatement work. And I will turn that back over to Public Works Department.
All right, Chairman, members of the board, the item before you at this time is a public hearing related to the recovery of nuisance abatement costs for 21 projects listed on Exhibit A. The purpose of today's hearing is not to determine whether violations exist, but rather for your board to confirm the costs incurred already by the county after the property owners failed to correct the violations. Property owners were notified of today's hearing and were given the opportunity to protest the proposed costs before your board today. These cases involve properties where code compliance identified public nuisances that created public health and safety concerns under Kern County Ordinance Code Chapter 8.44. County ordinance requires property owners to maintain their properties free from public nuisances and to correct any violations that do occur. In each case, property owners were notified of the violation, given time to correct them, and informed of their appeal rights. When those violations are not corrected, the county is authorized to abate the nuisance and recover the associated costs from the property owner. The costs associated with that work are the subject of today's hearing. If your board confirms the costs today, any unpaid balance after 10 days may be placed as a special assessment against the property collected through the property tax roll, allowing the county to recover general fund costs related to these abatements. Before opening the public hearing, staff would like to withdraw the following items. We would like to withdraw items C and J off of the listing today for a new fiscal impact of $82,246.07. That concludes our presentation. At this time, it would be appropriate to open the public hearing and receive public comment.
Okay, thank you. Are there any members of the public that would like to comment on this item? Okay, I'm not seeing any. I'll bring it back to the board for any comments or a motion on staff's recommendation.
Motion approved.
Please cast your votes.
The motion is approved. All ayes.
All right, that takes us to item number 19, clerk of the board, and that is proposed revisions to administrative and procedural rules for the proceedings of the Board of Supervisors, including Senate Bill 707 amendments to the Ralph M. Brown Act, modernizing public agencies' meeting protocols related to public accessibility. And for that, I will turn it over to clerk of the board, Julie Gregg.
She has to run it for me. Did it work? There it goes. Good afternoon, Chairman Peters and members of the board. I'm Julie Gregg, your Chief Clerk of the Board. Senate Bill 707, signed into law on October 3rd, 2025, established new requirements for public participation in local government meetings that will become effective on July 1st of this year. These changes mandate updates to the board meeting procedural rules to ensure the county is in compliance by July 1st. Today's presentation will provide the recommended and statutory changes to the administrative and procedural rules for the proceedings of the Board of Supervisors due to SB 707. So, bringing these back to you. We first presented these to you in April. Just as a reminder, there are 3 main components to the upcoming changes. The first is with the website updates and community outreach, which will include expanded instructions for the remote participation and also outreach to groups that don't usually participate in our board meetings. The second is expanded access through that remote participation, including equitable public comment opportunities for remote participants, which we are instituting through public input, and community members will be able to participate by phone. Number 3 are the actual procedural rules updates that we need to do for the administration and procedural rules for the proceedings of the Board of Supervisors. SB 707 mandates your board's procedural rules to include a plan to address technical disruptions to virtual services and virtual participation in board meetings. In the event of such a disruption, the county must make a good faith effort to restore the service for at least 1 hour. During this time, the board may proceed to closed session if it's applicable, and if service is not restored within 1 hour, the board can reconvene an open session and upon a roll call vote, continue the meeting in the public interest of conducting business. The rules must also be updated to include remote participants in our disorderly conduct policy. The procedural rules may also be updated to include changes to public comment procedures. We have included in the policy a structure to allow for equitable in-person and remote participation for public comment. In the previous presentation, we heard clearly from your board and members of the public the concerns about imposing speaker limits on public comment. To address these concerns, we've added language into the policy that allows the board chair to remove these limits, and also any member of the board on the dais to remove them with a motion that is approved. This provision that we've put in would also allow the board to hear the public comment beyond the proposed speaker limits of up to 40 minutes for public presentation and 20 minutes for agenda items. Also, in these new circumstances, we wanted to balance the need to allow public comment and complete the meeting within a reasonable time. It's a hard balance there. So our next proposed provision allows the chair the ability to reduce the public comment speaker time to 1 minute per person when we have a topic of significant public interest. And this would be an allowance given to the chair at his or her discretion. These proposed changes provide a set of structures to ensure flexibility for your board so that meetings can proceed within a reasonable time frame, while also having provisions to create flexibility depending on the unique circumstances of the meeting. The recommended action is for your board to approve the updated administrative and procedural rules for the proceedings of the boards of supervisors. This concludes my prepared remarks, but I'm here to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the board before we receive public comment? Okay, not seeing any. Are there any members of the public that would like to comment on this item?
Interesting.
Good afternoon. My name is Leslie DeBas. I'm with the Leadership Council for Justice and Accountability. I am making comments regarding item 19, proposed revision for administrative and procedural rules. We are encouraged by the county doing its due diligence on preparing for the implementation of the legal requirements of SB 707 or Government Code 549.53.4 before July 1st deadline to support the public in being civically engaged. SB 707 is intended to diversify and increase public engagement in local government to ensure that regardless of location, residents are able to participate in democratic processes and help guide policy and programs that impact their everyday life. Public participation is a crucial component for the body as it makes decisions impacting the entire city. As public servants, please use SB 707's requirement as an opportunity to improve the public's ability to give input as it contributes to good governance and improves your ability to better serve the city. In addition to the SB 707 requirements, please ensure that the upcoming plan does not decrease speaking time and that a minimum of 3 minutes per person is allowed, and that any public member has the right to their allotted time without limits to the number of speakers per agenda item. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other members of the public like to comment on this item? Okay, seeing none, I'll bring it back to the board for any final discussion or a motion.
Sorry about that. Thank you to our clerk of the board for implementation and all the listening and public feedback. I'd just like to make a motion. This is all about transparency. We talk about it. This is it in action. and we're going to complement the new law and expand access to people in remote areas and people to weigh in. So I think we're going to be just fine with your recommendation. So I'm happy to make a motion.
Thank you.
Second.
And because I'm all the way over here, I just need you guys to vote out loud.
No problem.
Because I can't do it over there.
So, well, we'll just go in order. I'll vote aye.
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 All right.
Thank you.
All ayes. So that takes us to the end of our agenda, and without objection, we'll adjourn to June 9th, 2026. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Thank you. We're adjourned.